it really has changed the entire dynamic of how I approach networking, of the result that I've been able to achieve through my networking efforts. And honestly, it's easier for me. One of the greatest struggles that I know I have had to face throughout my journey within entrepreneurship, as well as I know a lot of other driven, ambitious young individuals face, is finding other driven individuals, finding other ambitious people to bring into and accumulate within your social circle in order to collaborate on different projects, start businesses, have high-level conversations, go out and simply experience life, etc. So in this video, I'm going to be talking to you all about how becoming the connector enabled me to completely change the strategy, the approach that I was using to level up my social circle. But before we dive into what becoming the connector means, let's first talk about the wrong way to do things, the wrong way to grow a powerful social group or a powerful social circle, if you will. And this was the approach that I followed for a lot of years. It's really the traditional method of going out to meet and greets, networking events, DMing so-and-so on Instagram, and really just going up and doing the generic, shake their hand, get to know their name, maybe get their contact information, reach out, do kind of, like I said, your generic surface level networking, connecting with other individuals, hoping that it will eventually lead to a prosperous relationship. And the reality is this works. It absolutely works. It is simply not as effective as the new methodology that I have ingrained into my approach that I do now to grow my social circle. And that is to become the connector. And here's what I mean when I say becoming the connector. So now my approach is entirely different. When I initially meet someone for the first time, my number one goal is no longer to get through the introduction phase, maybe hit it off with them, make some small talk and get their contact information so I can reach out to them, maybe schedule a time to hang out or talk over a cup of coffee. Now, my number one goal when initiating a new conversation with a new person is to find out something that they need. Once I've figured out what that thing is that they may need, let's say maybe they're working on a project for their business and they need a graphic designer. Once I've been able to find out what it is that they need or something that they need, I then make it my sole mission so I've met them, I get their contact information, kind of like we said, the traditional style of networking, of connecting with other individuals. I then go back home and I now know something that they need. So what I then do is I make it my sole mission from there on out to further that specific relationship, to find someone and connect with someone that has what it is that former person needed. So now I might be looking to connect with a graphic designer, someone who does high-level graphic design work, or perhaps I already know someone. Now, this is where being the connector comes in. This is where kind of the terminology that I utilize to label that comes from. And that is, I am now going to, maybe I throw them both in a group chat. Maybe I just call up the first individual and say, hey, I know so-and-so who does graphic design. They do phenomenal work. Let me put you in touch with them. But basically, you are then fulfilling a need that they had. You are therefore giving them value. You are bringing value into their life. And then you're stepping away, asking for nothing in return. And that's the key, is to just literally continue to repeat this process of being the connector, being the person that brings individuals together for the mutual benefit of those two or those multiple individuals potentially in some circumstances, and not worrying about what you're going to gain, because I promise you that will come. When you connect people and bring value to them, when you are able to bring value into their life, they're going to remember you. So in reality, you may be connecting to other individuals and it feels like you're almost just networking on behalf of everyone else and growing their social circle. But in turn, you're actually growing yours and you're growing it with much more potency because you've led that relationship with value and they're going to remember you for having done that. It really has changed the entire dynamic of how I approach networking, of the result that I've been able to achieve through my networking efforts. And honestly, it's easier for me. I'm not always worried about, okay, how can I convince them to want to further this relationship, to sit down, have coffee, to hang out sometime. All I do is I get them connected with the people that they need. I meet more people in turn and then provide value to both sides of the spectrum. And it's funny how often these individuals end up just reaching out to say thank you. And they're like, hey, let's go snag coffee. Hey, let's do this sometime. Let's shoot this video. What you got going on in business? We're just having those kinds of higher level conversations because relationships built on trust, relationships built upon leading with value are much stronger in the long term. And they're going to lead to you being able to, once again, level up your social circle, to have a social circle that isn't simply surface level relationships with a wide array of people. Rather, they are deep, well-established, value-driven relationships with other driven and ambitious individuals that all want to contribute to one another, that all are looking to have those high-level conversations that can bring so much value to a young individual's life. This works for everyone, not just young individuals. It's just I really am trying to tailor this content towards that younger version of myself, the entrepreneurs, the game changers, the people that are, leading the charge within various different industries that are, not necessarily conforming to the norms in society and are trying to push the limits, the ambitious. So a whole nother conversation that then comes from this is, okay, well, how do you initiate these conversations with people so that you can be the connector, so that you're in the position to get people in touch with one another and provide that value? Networking events I've found work great for me. I'm very active in a wide range of networking groups. I've always gravitated towards in-person networking. I know a lot of other people, though, thrive more within online, and it's definitely much more scalable. You can network with hundreds, if not thousands of people in a given week just by going on platforms like Instagram. And so with that being said, I'll share with you one of my favorite approaches on social media for connecting with other like-minded individuals to initiate these conversations and give me an opportunity to become the connector. Is I go on Instagram and I will search the location that I'm in. You can then click the location tag, and what that then does is it pulls up the map of your local area. And now with a recent update, you're able to actually even scroll around a map. You can see different locations, different kind of areas and places that people are tagging and sharing to their story. And what you're then able to do is basically get a snapshot of other individuals in your area who are active on social media. And the great part about social media is through the content that they're posting, it actually gives you context as to who they are, what it is that they do. Are they someone that you even want to be really connecting with and adding, making an effort to add them to your social circle? You can, visit their profile, check out even more details about what it is that they do, and then just jump in the DMs. Shoot them a message, introduce yourself, make it about them, make a comment on, hey, I saw you were on this podcast recently, and actually watch the podcast and give them some valuable insight or feedback on the podcast. Or, I saw your recent post about, you launching a new marketing agency. I think that's really cool. I'm actually in marketing myself and would love to maybe, share some industry insights with you, et cetera, et cetera. And then once again, as soon as you've initiated that contact, make it your primary goal to find out something that they need, and then find the individual who's going to be able to provide that person with what they need, in turn becoming, once again, the connector. So I hope this video was of value to you. If you have any feedback or even some potential video topics that you would like me to cover in the future, please do leave that feedback in the comments section down below, and I will catch you all on the next video.